Okay, guys, so I know we're a little behind on the daily reading ready, but we're going to be doing Wednesday and we're going to go ahead and do Thursdays. Okay. So we're on a new story. It's called Goose Pimples. Have you ever had a chill that rushed over your body and made the hairs on your arms and legs stand on end? If you have ever had this experience, your body was covered in raised bumps, commonly called goose pimples or goose bumps. What is a goose pimple? Goose pimples are bumps on a person's skin at the bottom of the body hairs. These hairs stand on end involuntarily when a person is cold or is fearful. Some people even experience them when they hear a beautiful piece of music or experience something that moves them emotionally. The name goosebump comes from the word goose skin comes from the way goose skin looks without feathers, which resembles what happens when a person gets goose pimples. Make them go away. Normally, the goose pimples go away once the body warms or the excitement or fear passes. Typically, this process is not an ongoing problem for most people. However, medications and herbal supplements can be used to regulate body temperature and blood flow if the condition becomes a problem. Okay, so we have our passage is about goose pimples. So this is what we call a description text structure because it's describing it. And if you notice, they have numbered the paragraphs. We have 1, 2, and 3. And then we have what are called these headers for each paragraph. So we know what each paragraph is going to be about. Okay. Actually, let me highlight that. So we have our headers for each paragraph. For paragraph 2, for paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. And so that's just telling us what the paragraph is fixing to be about. So let's look at the first question. What does the word involuntarily mean in paragraph 2? So let's go back and read the sentence. It says, these hairs stands on end involuntarily when a person is cold or fearful. So I'm going to highlight that sentence. So I want to know what that means. Wildly. So wildly, is it saying that these hairs stand on end wildly, like crazy? It doesn't really talk about that. Unwillingly. So unwillingly means that it just does it automatically. Unwillingly means like you're not willing to do something, like it just does it without you wanting it to do it. Madly, violently. Well, madly, no. Violently, no. Unwillingly. That means without us wanting them to, they do it unwillingly. What can the reader conclude from the information in the section titled, What is a Goose Pimple? So when it talks about what can the reader conclude, what do you get out of that? So out of reading that, what information did you get? When a person is cold or sick, the hair on their head stands on end. So it says cold or fearful. This says cold or sick, the hair on their head. So we're talking about hair on any part of your body. So that's no. Severe medications can be purchased for people who have a problem with goosebumps. So that paragraph, this answer choice, actually, it's not talked about in paragraph 2. It's talked about in paragraph 3. So that's no. We're looking for the paragraph that is titled, What is a Goose Pimple? So we're looking in this paragraph right here. Music can become a problem for people with pimples. Is that what they're saying? No, it doesn't talk about music. Goosebumps happen for several reasons. So let's see. Does it talk about the reasons? Some people even experience them when they hear... Okay, so it's talking about how they experience them when they're cold or fearful. Some people have experienced them when beautiful music or experience them or beautiful music or experiences something that moves them. So yes. After I read that paragraph, I can conclude that you can get them for several reasons. If you're cold, if you're fearful, if you hear beautiful music, if you experience something maybe emotional, exciting, sad, that's a reason why you could get them. Okay. And then the exit ticket I want you to do, so you're going to do this is the exit ticket I want you to do. Write one fact you learned about goose pimples from the selection. So you're going to tell me one fact, and I want you to write it in your own words. So do not copy the sentence. I want you to tell me in your own words what was something that you learned. Okay. So one fact. Okay. And it has to come from this. Okay, let's look at Thursdays. So we're doing the same thing. It's the same passage. So let's go ahead and answer the question since we already read it. Which section would be most helpful to a person who wants to find information about the causes of goose pimples? So they want to know the causes. So what causes them? So it says the photograph. If I look at this photograph, is it going to tell me why it causes it? No. The picture is just showing me what goose pimples look like. The first paragraph. So this paragraph right here. So let's read it and see if it's going to tell me what causes goose pimples. Have you ever had a chill that rushed over your body and made the hair on your arms and legs stand on end? If you have ever had this experience, your body was covered in raised bumps, commonly called goose pimples or goosebumps. So did that tell us the cause? No. What is a goose pimple? So right here in paragraph 2. Goose pimples are bumps on a person's skin at the bottom of the body's hair. These hairs stand on end involuntarily when a person is cold or is fearful. Some people even experience them when they hear a beautiful piece of music or experiences something that moves them emotionally. The name goose pimple comes from the way goose skin looks without feathers, which resembles what happens when a person gets goose pimples. So this one possibly could be it, because it's talking about that they get them when they're cold, when they're fearful, when they hear beautiful music, when they experience something emotionally. Okay. D, making them go away. So let's read paragraph 3 to make sure that's not a good answer. Normally, the goose pimples go away once the body warms or the excitement or fear passes. Typically, this process is not an ongoing problem for most people. However, medications and herbal supplements can be used to regulate body temperature and the blood flow if the condition becomes a problem. So that's just telling us how we get rid of them, how to make them go away. So C is our answer. Okay, number 2. Which sentence best supports the idea that there are ways to get rid of goose pimples if they become a problem? So which one of these sentences is going to support that idea? That means which one is going to help us know that that if they become a problem, there are ways to get rid of it. So A, normally the goose pimples go away once the body temperature or excitement of fear passes. So that one, no, because we're talking about ways to get rid of them if they're problematic. This sentence is saying that they can go away easily. B, however, medications and herbal supplements can be used to regulate body temperature and blood flow if the condition becomes a problem. So this one probably, because it's telling us that you can use medication and herbal supplements if it becomes a problem and you can't get rid of them. C, goose pimples are bumps on a person's skin at the bottom of the body's hair. That's just telling us what they are. It's not telling us ways to get rid of them. These hairs stand on end involuntarily when a person is cold or fearful. So that's just telling us what happens. So B is our answer. Okay. And then I want you to answer this question or write a short summary of the selection above. So you're going to tell me a short summary. And remember, we talked about summaries last week. And we said in order for us to write a good summary, we only put information that comes from our passage. We do not copy sentences. We write in our own words, and we make sure it's only important details. Okay, so you have two things to do. You're going to tell me one fact about goose pimples, and you're going to write a short summary of the selection above. So you're going to write a short summary of what we read. All right, guys.